Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Apex Period, written by ThatGuyBob0101. There comes a time when each species hits its apex. The cheapest way to think about it is a self-annihilation. After all, unfortunately, that's how many species do it, either by simply being unable to set aside their differences and bombing one another into extinction, or a fundamental acceptance of entropy on a level that dictates nothing but total elimination of everything they are. But extinction is far from the only apex. Many species have sought out an ascension, or simply embraced the calm, small lives that we have to ourselves, or even achieved such an innate, true understanding of the universe that they become beings truly incomprehensible, untouchable, even divine in a sense. It takes many, many forms. But each species always hits their apex before they hit 10 million years of age since their first tools. Stars blink with ancient wills, foreign minds and unknowable truths that call to each mind. Each species, and it's not even infrequent for species to have separate apexes. The Innu can still be found today, as either a people of content nomads who can only be found in their home world, or amongst the impenetrable flagships of isolated societies. Cocoons that'll never again emerge into the outer galaxy. Neither will change, neither will grow. In essence, the once mighty Innu are a relic of the past, gone into naught but the pages of the universal history that fluctuates and shivers with the ripples of consequences and pacifists alike. Many species have hit this point in their lifespan, where they themselves choose to stop growing, where they become a relic. And the thing is, relics can still be capable of a great many things. And the longest-lived relic of all is the humans. Their apex was a strange one. In the history of pages, humans were galactic tyrants. Worlds burned at their beck and call, and for 100,000 years, the Lanakai galaxy cluster was ravaged by humans, bursting from the Milky Way dead zone like an angry hive. Stars were forever snuffed from the night sky, and the longest-lasting empire ever seen was ushered in what's now known as the Age of Darkness in the galaxy. But the Lanakai Empire went quite 3 million years ago, 11 million years after humanity's advent of tools, a million years later than the previously recorded longest time until Apex. And what emerged was the steadiest, slowest apex of a species ever recorded. Humans could still be found as recently as 5 years ago, across the length of their fall, until their recent official extinction. What became of humanity was the largest humanitarian effort ever committed across the universe. They stopped expanding and started offering aid in any form they could. Just not weapons. Never weapons. It's still unknown just how many lives were saved, but with the expanse of the Lanakai Empire's remnants, it's estimated to be well within the quintillions by modern day. Human ships were a welcome sight across every corner of the galaxy, each one a harbinger of good health and fortune as they drifted from station to moon. All they ever asked for was that their patients helped others too, and they never picked sides. It was the third remnant war that ultimately led to the disgraceful people finally dying off. By the war's start, their birth rate was drastically declined, each child cared for and celebrated by a small city as their population dwindled to a mere 100 million. In a war with billions of soldiers and hundreds of billions of civilians, their aid was seen as a noble gesture to some, a nuisance to others, and, to the few who saw them in action, a work of angels in a so font-made hell. They didn't pick sides. The humans would save Baxes and Ultims alike, wrapping pluribus on every bullet hole and shrapnel gash they could find. Alien technologies beyond our understanding brought the dead back to life and stabilized whole continents. And when the pluribus and the unknowable aid from the stars forgotten finally ran out, they didn't stop there. They tattered their clothes, trying primitive gauzes and using empty rifles as splints. They set bone with their hands and painfully sewed ribbon flesh together with their nimble little primate paws, even as thousands of them were caught in the crossfire. In the end, a bloody conflict over a handful of stars that had threatened to claim hundreds of millions of lives had its death toll reduced to 1/10 of what was theorized. Their city ships ran themselves ragged, and everyone who fought in war has at least one tale about a human race. But the ultimate people were sour about their loss, and their leaders needed someone to blame, else the blame fall on them. The human xenocide wasn't even noticed. Retreating home after the war, the Milky Way dead zone was always a very difficult galaxy to get messages in or out. By the time we started getting the distress calls, the longest-standing sentient species in recorded history was already dead. 14 million years of history, 3 million years of generosity, snuffed out as a scapegoat. There was not much that we can do for them now. Even the subsequent ultimate war, where their empire was reduced to a complete and unconditional surrender for their crimes, was not something the humans would have wanted done in their names. Clones have already been made, but in all their nigh-eternal essence, humanity is dead. Yet, it is not reported on enough about how they still live on, I feel. Their history is a storied one. From the Lanakai Empire, spanning the whole galaxy cluster, to the apex of humanity, to their final time expanding a hand to us, and each step, each breath, still lives on through those of us who remember. I am proposing a resurrection of humanity, not through clones, but through something else. The Hippocrates X-Way is a little pet project of mine. Instantaneous travel of humanitarian aid can reach war-torn corners of the universe in record time, expand our effort to explore this realm's furthest corners, and serve as an early warning to external threats to our known societies. The humans aren't here to do it for us anymore. So, it is up to us to help each other. End of story. Story number 2. Great Idea, Wrong Species, written by Nuvius Eta NVM. From each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. Wait, I heard that before. I hope so. It's a Terran quote after all. You're not charging me for the fuel supplies and repairs because of some nonsense some hallucinated human blabbed eons ago. Doesn't seem nonsense to us. We're here after all, and we're doing pretty well. So you just hang out here, in this faraway outpost, fixing the ships that come by day in and day out, by choice? Yes. What else would I do? I don't know, something more fun. Heard you guys are really into music. Can't you sing like your peers? I am an amazing singer. Bullshit. Freddie Mercury dies a second time, out of sheer embarrassment. That was amazing. I know. Why aren't you touring the galaxy, blessing the hearts of mere mortals with the divine in audio form? And who would take care of this hangar? Someone else can do it. I can do it. But how many can sing like you do? There are a few who could hear me sing. There are many who need me to fix their space bathtubs, like you. I've been stuck in your space for weeks now, listening to your radios. None of the very famous, well-beloved singers of your system come close to what you can do. Yes, and none of them can fix your bathtub, which, by the way, had maybe 30 light years in it before turning you into space dust. Yeah, I know, it's far from the best Earth can afford, but it's just enough to what I can afford. I think Space Couriers in charge of deliveries to the furthest corners of the universe would be precisely the one in most need of the faster, sturdier spaceship humanity can cobble together. What can I say? That's just how Earth spins. Have you tried our way? It was your idea, after all. That didn't work out. Not everything works the first time. Maybe you just need to try a bit harder. The second time was much, much worse. Third time's the charm? We don't talk about the third time. Don't know what to tell you. We saw this thing you humans came up with, gave it a shot, and it's worked fine for us. I'm glad you managed to build your commie utopia, if nothing else, because now I won't be left adrift to die in space, and if I do, I'll have all the booze I need to not think about it. Glad I could help. That'll be $0, since we don't demand compensation for the things we do. And I am the most grateful for it. Farewell, my friend. Be safe, human. The courier headed back on his journey. The randomized playlist now had a bland taste in his ears. It was inconceivable to the humble man, a person with the means, both biological and socio-economic. Together, all the fame and adoration she could want would trade it for a dull routine of space garage in the frozen fringes of her system. He had not much time to ponder it, though. A sudden inertial spike let him know the ship's warp bubble had been popped. Both aware of the quality of the repairs he was graced, and the many years of experience in this poorly paid job informed him of the reality of his current predicament. Pirates! 2 small ships came into view. Too fast to outrun, too nimble to outmaneuver, most definitely equipped with better armament than he had in his humble bathtub, which was none. His mind raced to recall if he had managed to gather the money of the insurance last month. If he didn't, it would be a long stay as a guest of the pirates, until his family managed to pull together whatever ransom those rascals were about to ask. His travel down memory lane was interrupted by the disappearance of one of the ships from the scanners. Moving his eyes to the main screen, he could see the other now transmitted a standard galactic code of surrender. United Sol 83A678, Zeta 4. This is the Hunter-Destroyer Gulpak Nock. Are you in need of medical or technical assistance? Thank you. Just me on board. I'm fine, but my interstellar engine has been disabled. Understood. Sir, please move to the coordinates we are transmitting. We'll escort you and guarantee access to the necessary repairs. He set the coordinates through navigation and headed out at sublight speed, strolling through the void in autopilot. He put the rear view on the main screen. The sight was impressive, a ship elegant in its simplicity, sleek, efficient, and armed to the teeth. Probably a single bathroom on board, consisting of a lonely toilet with an inbuilt bidet for maximum efficiency. Arriving at the space station, the crew of the Gulpak Nock stepped out with mathematically precise steps, the remaining pirates in custody. The courier ship was brought to the hangar for repairs, and he was escorted to a cozy lounge, where he awaited zipping the best coffee of his life. Soon enough, his ship was ready, and a reptilian in elegant uniform brought him a pad. "What is that? Your pills, sir." He spit out the coffee. "That much? I advise you to savor every drop of your coffee, sir. It's the best that a lot of money can buy. Aren't you police officers? Public officers? There is no such thing as a public officer amongst the rocks, sir. We are a collection of individuals freely organized into private corporations driven by an unencumbered pursuit of profit. You are charging me for taking out pirates." "Yes, sir. Also for your ship repairs, your coffee, and you'll notice various payment plans for the incineration of your aggressors." "What if I refuse to pay? Will you take my ship and cargo at gunpoint?" "Of course not, sir. A rock lives by the warrior code, and it commands us respect another private property. Meaning, if you don't compensate us for our services, we will return you and the pirates to your status quo ante, and you'll be free to pursue an outcome of your satisfaction in the free market. That being staying in an accommodations my captors provide until I pay their ransom. If that's what you choose, there are other security companies in the vicinity who provide security not quite to our price, but not to our excellence either. You don't divide territory or shoot each other away from your turf. Of course not. The code commands us to accept honorable challenge within the free market. Very honorable if you extort a guy who's just about to be kidnapped. I do not understand your outrage, sir. If you carefully examine your bill, you'll see you'll only have to pay 16 terrors out of pocket. What did you do with the rest? Your insurance will cover the remainder. I've been here for 20 minutes. How did you manage to get those leeches to open their wallets that fast? Our associate corporation in legal solutions is an expert in providing excellent innovations in cutting red tape. You built an anarcho-capitalist society, so functional even the lawyers work for the common good. Your surprise surprises me, sir. The foundations of our society, to the code itself, hail from the study of Terran literature. I assumed your species had experimented with it itself. Yeah, I'm aware of the BS of the 21st century tech bros, and you're clearly not aware of Mars X. That was a shit show, unmatched by any reality show before this or since. Indeed, I am not, and while I appreciate the history lesson, we are still to address our fees. Just take my $16 already. Very well, sir. Yeah, you wouldn't happen to know if this will affect my premium. Based on my limited experience with humans, I'm inclined to ask, do you really want to know, sir? You're right. I'm out of here. Back to the vastness of space, on his way back to Earth. The courier had finally solved the mystery that plagued humanity since its dawn. We came upon this universe to serve as a bad example. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Caspar Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.